The air in the studio was electric before the cameras even started rolling. What was meant to be a light-hearted segment filled with laughter and banter between two powerhouse performers quickly unraveled into something no one expected. Gwen Stefani, the queen of reinvention and fierce honesty, sat poised in her chair. Opposite her, Kelly Clarkson adjusted her mic with her usual warmth, unaware of the emotional tempest brewing beneath Gwen's composed exterior. It began innocently enough. The audience clapped with excitement, thrilled to see the two music icons together. A few exchanges about motherhood, touring schedules, and nostalgic throwbacks to their earlier careers set a relaxed tone. But beneath the smiles, a slight tension could already be sensed, visible only to the most observant. It wasn't until Kelly pivoted the conversation to career shifts and authenticity that things began to slide. She had asked, perhaps without intending harm, about how Gwen had changed her musical direction over the years, implying that some fans had found it hard to keep up. Gwen's eyes narrowed just slightly, but her tone remained even. Well, I've never really made decisions based on what fans expect. I create what's real to me in the moment, she said, the firmness in her voice betraying a hint of defensiveness. Kelly nodded, her southern charm still intact, trying to bridge the moment with grace. Totally, she replied. But don't you ever feel like some choices maybe pulled you too far from your roots? I mean, No Doubt was legendary. That was the spark, the one sentence that shifted the dynamic from playful to pointed. Gwen leaned back, her posture changing, more guarded now. She tilted her head, a small laugh escaping, but it was anything but amused. Do you think I've forgotten my roots? Gwen asked, her voice cooler now. Or is it just that I've evolved in ways people didn't expect? Kelly blinked, caught off guard. No, not forgotten, just wondering if some of the newer stuff feels more like branding than expression. A beat of silence. You could have heard a pin drop on that set. The audience, sensing the rising stakes, remained glued to the unfolding moment. This wasn't a staged disagreement. This wasn't late-night banter. This was two artists, two women, confronting something raw. I've always been honest about where I am in life, Gwen said, her tone now unmistakably sharper. Every record I've made came from a real place, even if it doesn't sound like 1995. And I don't appreciate being told that what I'm doing now isn't real. Kelly attempted to pivot. Hey, I get it. You're passionate. I am too. But I also think as public figures, we need to be open to criticism. Gwen stood abruptly. That moment, the sound of her chair scraping the studio floor, snapped everyone into full awareness that something real and unrehearsed was happening. The crew exchanged nervous glances. The audience gasped audibly. Even the band behind the scenes stopped mid-chord. Criticism is one thing, Gwen said, standing tall, eyes fixed on Kelly. But there's a difference between critique and dismissing someone's journey. You don't get to define my authenticity. Kelly stood as well, the tension now undeniable. Gwen, I wasn't trying to define anything. I was having a conversation. And now I'm ending it, Gwen replied. With that, she turned and walked off the set, past the cameras, through the heavy velvet curtain, and out of sight. Back in the studio, Kelly stood stunned, hands still at her sides. The audience didn't know whether to clap, gasp, or wait for someone to yell cut. Eventually, Kelly turned back to the camera, forcing a half-smile. Live TV, y'all, she said softly, trying to reclaim the moment. Backstage, murmurs rippled through the crew as Gwen moved swiftly past the dressing rooms, her stilettos clicking against the polished floor. Her face was a mix of fury and hurt, a rare crack in the perfectly composed persona the world had come to know. A producer called after her, but she didn't turn back. Meanwhile, Kelly remained on stage, collecting herself. Her team whispered behind the cameras, debating whether to cut to commercial or salvage the segment. She exhaled deeply, offering a tight-lipped smile to the audience. Sometimes honesty stings, she muttered, then sat back down, visibly rattled. Moments later, social media exploded. Clips, hashtags, wild speculations. Fans quickly chose sides. Was Gwen overreacting? Was Kelly out of line? Within minutes, what was meant to be a fun reunion of two music legends had turned into a headline-grabbing storm, and neither artist could undo what had been said or unsaid. on live TV. Back in her dressing room, Gwen paced restlessly, still reeling from the exchange. A makeup artist cautiously offered her a bottle of water, but Gwen waved it away, her mind racing. She wasn't just angry, she felt betrayed. The show was supposed to be a celebration of her latest work, not an interrogation of her evolution. She had agreed to appear because she respected Kelly as a fellow artist, and believed the conversation would be uplifting. Instead, it felt like a public dismantling of everything she'd worked toward in the last decade. Meanwhile, Kelly was in her own green room, visibly shaken. She replayed the moment over and over in her head, wondering if her question had come out more harshly than intended. She wasn't trying to discredit Gwen. If anything, she admired her for taking risks and changing her sound. But in the heat of the conversation, the words came out wrong. And now, the fallout was spreading like wildfire online. Clips of the walkout were already trending on Twitter and TikTok. Commenters dissected every glance, every syllable. Fans began posting side-by-side videos. Gwen in her ska-punk glory days versus her modern pop persona, offering unsolicited opinions about which version was more authentic. Others defended her fiercely, applauding her for standing her ground and refusing to be boxed in by outdated expectations. Behind the scenes, publicists from both camps began damage control. Statements were drafted, deleted, rewritten. Producers from the show debated whether to air the unedited version or cut the segment altogether. But it was too late. The internet had already captured the moment. The headlines were writing themselves. Gwen versus Kelly, when pop queens collide. Hours later, Gwen released a short statement on Instagram. A black and white photo of her looking out a window, captioned with, "Authenticity isn't up for debate." Simple. Clear. No tags, no mentions. But everyone knew who it was aimed at. Kelly, in contrast, went live on her page. Sitting on her couch, still makeup smudged from the day's events, she spoke directly to the camera. "I want to clarify something," she said. "I have nothing but love and admiration for Gwen. What happened today wasn't planned, and I never intended to hurt her. My questions came from a place of curiosity, not criticism. I'm human. I mess up. But I own it." The live drew thousands of viewers instantly, including Gwen's fans and critics alike. Some accepted the apology. Others felt it wasn't enough. The comment section was a minefield. By the next morning, every entertainment outlet had run the story. Paparazzi camped outside both women's homes. Rumors swirled about feuds, canceled collaborations, and the fragile alliances in the entertainment industry.